This is Mrs. Sills, housewife. Her shopping problem these days? High prices. And this is the Sills family, husband Albert and daughters Vicki and Laurie. Recently, John F. Kennedy visited the Sills and talked with them about a problem of great concern to every American family.
Mr. and Mrs. Sills are facing one of the great problems that all American families are now facing, and that is the great increase in the cost of living. Ms. Sills, you've lived here for a few years?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
And I find the prices have gone up tremendously.
How about on your rent here? Now, you've been, I understand, for the last 4.5 years in this apartment. Has your rent gone up much in that time?
Our rent has gone up, our food, our cleaning of our clothing, buying of the clothing, our gas and electric and our telephone bills have gone up. And we find that it is just very difficult to manage right now. And we wonder whether it will improve or get worse.
But I think your experience is the experience a good many Americans have had. I suppose every time you go to the market, you see it too, don't you?
Price of bread has risen, milk, meat, any particular foods that you need on the table practically every night, or necessities that belong in the household. I also have found that medical bills have gone up, such as the dentist and the doctors.
Medical care, that's gone up nearly 36% in the last 6 or 7 years, and that is a burden for any family. If you got sick or one of your children sick for a long time, or Mr. Sills, and couldn't keep working, that would be a tremendous burden. What's been your experience, Mr. Sills, as far as keeping those two daughters of yours going?
Well, we're very concerned with their future. We would like both of them to go to college.
Have you been able to put much aside?
No, unfortunately, not right now. Just had occasion to buy them shoes, and I was amazed at the high cost of a decent pair of shoes.
One of the things which I think has increased the cost of living has been this administration's reliance upon a high interest rate policy. That means that for everybody to do business, small businessman, large businessman, I'm sure in your company, things which you sell, you have to pay a much higher interest rate. We pay nearly $3 billion a year to the government just on interest on our debt. It's true for the farmer who buys on time. If you buy an automobile on time, you pay much higher interest rates every month than you ever paid before. If your neighborhood's building a school, you have to pay a good deal more to borrow that money. If you're going to buy a house now, you rent a house, but if you were going to buy a house, $10,000 a year house with a 30-year mortgage, it would probably cost you $5,000 or $6,000 more just on interest than it would have 10 years ago. My own judgment is that we're going to have to try to do a better job in this field. I don't think American families can stand every 5 or 6 months having a new breakthrough in the cost of living for food, medical care. Some of the things that the government can do, I believe, is for the Congress to make economic and price stability a central goal of government, to bring the bright light of publicity on all these great price increases. As a matter of fact, because of the congressional investigation into the price of drugs, there's been a 15% drop in their price for antibiotics, which every family will need. So I believe that we can do a far better job, stimulate the economy, vigorous use of the antitrust laws so that there's no excessive price increases, competition among businessmen, and then we'll try to keep, with a growing economy and full employment, try to keep a balance between wages and prices. Well, we've had a visit here with Mr. and Mrs. Sills, and I think that their experience has been an experience that every American family knows something about. I want to make it very clear that if we are successful on November 8th in the race for the presidency, this fight against these excessive increases in the cost of living will be on the top of the agenda. I believe we can do better.
Yes, we can do better. But to do so, we must elect the man who cares about America's problems. We must elect John F. Kennedy president.